Now I'm starting to realize that what I'm confused and overwhelmed about is how do I make my message clear to people about the other businesses that I do.
Preach.
Okay, I'm happy that now I'm confused about a business that I'm starting, that I have started, that I'm trying to build. Whereas before, I was so confused and overwhelmed with, how do I tell my family that I've decided to remove myself from the religion that I was raised in? You know what I mean? Like it's a confusion and an overwhelm for good things.
Welcome to I Am Her, where spiritual meets spicy, F-bombs meet forgiveness, and shadow work occasionally throws glitter.
Welcome everyone to I Am Her, episode number 1111. Okay, I am Emmy.
And I'm Thylene.
And we are so freaking glad you are here with us. We're happy that you've stuck with us through episode number 11. It's quite a milestone.
Can I say something?
Do it.
I looked at one of our videos and it had 17 views and another one that had like 57 something. And I'm like, people are watching at least portions. And I got really excited because it's better than zero. And I'm also really excited because this is one thing that at least for me, that I've been consistent on. And I'm excited because this will show what consistency can do. And then when we get to the point where we're having 300 views and 800 views or whatever, we can look back and be like, oh, look at us little babies who have like 15 and 60 views. It's an exciting process. And because my brain works the way that it works with visualization and all of the things, I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I can see myself looking back. Okay, anyway, tangent. My brain works weird and I'm really excited, so.
No, it's not weird because I literally got a little notification on my phone that we had 50 streams and or downloads on Spotify. 50,
what?
50.
No way.
Yeah.
Shut up. I just got soul chills. Oh my gosh.
So that's exciting. So it's not weird that you think that way because I literally live for those notifications.
It makes me so giddy.
Yeah, it's exciting. So,
okay.
Yay. Okay. Well, how was Thanksgiving? How was the holiday?
I spent it with family, multiple families over the last 4 days. I went to my cousin's and then I actually ended up going to Portland and visiting, the intent was to go for a friend and we were doing zoo lights and all of the things, but I ended up with my family, which was I don't know, when things happen like that and it's in flow, it just feels really good. It was so good to see them and everything was good. There wasn't any animosity. It just was a really good time. So, and I'm glad we did it.
That is really amazing because when we were our Thanksgiving episode, you were talking about, well, I might go to my cousin's, but as soon as we're done eating, I'm dipping.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did. I mean, we were there and we ate and cousin time happened and we probably stayed a little bit longer than I initially thought that we would. And it's not because of them. It's not oh my gosh, I have to be here and I don't want to. It wasn't that at all. It just is the boundaries of I'm tired, enough is enough when it's enough. And it was enough a little bit later than I had anticipated. And what's really important is that my daughter have time with her cousins, right? They have lived so far away for so long that it's nice that they're a half hour away. And then my Portland family is 2 hours, right? And so she got to hang out with, and there's a bunch of Portland. I mean, there's a bunch of Yelm, I guess. There's a bunch of kids. We got a team. We started a football team over here. And so, but they all got to hang out, and my daughter just was like beside herself with joy. So it was great. Everything was great. Food was good. It was good. Like, I'm happy, and boundaries were respected on both sides, and it just was really nice. It was a fill up as opposed to a drain, which was really nice. How about you?
Well, mine was pretty quiet. We went to Perkins like we had planned. It was me and my husband and my daughter and our granddaughter. And we enjoyed a delicious meal. And no cooking, no cleaning, none of that stuff that comes with the chaotic holidays. And then we came home, and my husband watched football, and I, of course, had to watch Post Malone on the halftime show because Posty brought it. And then I just kind of, did a little bit of computer work and just did what I wanted to do. He did what he wanted to do, and then we just kind of hung out the rest of the weekend. And tomorrow the work week starts again. And
stop talking like that. That's a bad word.
I mean, it is what it is. Reality.
It is what it is. For now.
I'm
proud of you, Em. I am stinking proud of you.
Let me tell you something about for now.
Yeah, let me lay it on me.
For so long, I despised that saying because people would start projects and stuff and say, "Oh, we'll just put this over here for now," or we'll leave this here for now. And then if we were moving something to a different place of the house or whatever, "Oh, let's just do this, put it here for now." And I
feel
hated
attacked.
that. But good, stop doing it. But now, when I say for now, it's usually for reasons that are like this. We're talking about going to work on Monday, and it's reality for now. That's okay. But I still don't love the for now when I ask you to go move something and you just move it 5 inches and say, we'll just put it right here for now. Because for now usually means, in that instance, it's never going to get done. I'm just saying. And if you feel attacked, then that's the truth for you, too.
For sure. It's a mirror as fuck. I'm okay with it. Like, I know that about myself, Like, I am well aware that my fucking Gemini mind is going in 70 different directions. Farhana, one of our friends, so just so people know, Farhana is one of our friends who we do cocoon butterfly method with, and she was trying to get like a little bit of a read on me, and she's like, it looks like shards of glass. And I'm like, that's interesting. In my visions, that's what I look like too. Like, there's like 1,000 different reflections, and it's like so many things going on that there's no path, right? So one of the things that I work on is getting clear in the moment, because it's okay that I have all these things, but focus is important too, because where you focus and your energy goes, that's what grows. So that's something that I consistently try to, and that's why I meditate a little bit. I try to meditate a little bit every day to get that kind of focus. Okay, what does my day look like? Let's visualize how we want it to happen. Best case scenario. Let's call it in, So, but I feel that. My point is I feel it because for now is sometimes necessary, but also you have to come back to it. Like,
you do.
Like, and as I'm packing the house, I'm finding a lot of for nows, and I'm like, oh, well, now's nothing better than the present.
Yeah, and then I'm a Virgo, so my perfectionist comes out. I see these things that are
I don't see that in you at all. Just kidding. Perfectionism is your life.
It is, and I'm like, why is this sitting here half done? And I just
and you're going crazy about it.
Yes, I want to know, and I want to get it handled.
Yep.
Don't say. That's why I hate for now, because I know what that means.
I get it.
Yeah.
Get it. I get it.
Again, the reality of the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 grind is a for now. Which is acceptable.
Yeah.
In that situation.
But for me, like, my goal more is not just for now, but to buy a house 2 years. So, but like, I feel like the years are going by so fast that I'm gonna like be in a position where I'm just like, oh, it's time to buy a house. Oh, golly. Like, that was like 5 minutes. So, because once I buy my house and my studio's up and running and I can continue my real estate, there won't be a need for a W-2,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, shall we move into tarot time with Thylene? TTT.
I want to cool something with mine.
Oh, like the echo?
Yeah, but like, it doesn't have to be the echo. Are you calling me a failure?
Awesome!
We're getting warmer.
Or this.
I love it! You guys are so great!
That kind of is me. What else is on there? Are those the only ones? I feel like that's all I've heard. Is there anything you haven't? I know that one.
Or...
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to put your name on this button.
Do it.
Okay. All right, everybody. It's time for Tarot Time with Thylene.
Yes.
Yes.
All the yeses.
So much yes.
So much yes. So, because I just got back from Portland and my tarot cards are not with us at the moment, we are going with messages from the universe. We're going to take this message, channel it out, and I lit some, Palo Santo. Beforehand, were you going to say something?
Yeah, while you're shuffling.
Yeah.
It's time.
Oh!
We have got hibiscus again, because, I just can't put the flowers down. LaCroix, sparkling water. Hibiscus, naturally essenced.
I cannot with you.
0 calories, 0 sweetener, 0 sodium. Fuzzy water. Carry on.
Well, carry on. I also feel like, I don't know why, but money is definitely in the energy at the moment. For me, I feel very called to pull a career and money card.
I think this is very timely, considering, conversations that I've been having with Alyssa about this very thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
For myself.
Well, let me know how this works out for you.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to give you the message first, and then we'll talk about the money, because I feel like that the energy of the message reflects how your money comes in. So the first card I got was, you can't, and we've had this, we've had this card before. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. What is that called, Em?
Insanity.
Yep. Change comes from thinking thoughts you've never thought before and showing up to meet them down streets you've never walked before. This is so important because, especially during holidays, we tend to fall into tradition, which is okay in the sense of like, we light the tree every blah, blah, blah. We do this, fine. We tend to fall into patterns, though, that pull us back in energies that we have left a long time ago. And when we do that, it doesn't just shift the narrative for the moment, it shifts the narrative moving forward. And sometimes those old patterns are relationships, whether platonic or not. It could be any relationship. It could be a job calling you back that you already left, and they're like, but we have this really great, and you're like, no, right? That's just an example, but the definition of insanity is pulling from this place where we've been, and we already know the results that we've been getting, and saying, let's give it one more go. I mean, you can do that. Go for it. Life is a choice. I'm just saying, you already know, sis. You already know that didn't work out last time. And you're like, maybe this time it'll work out different. The last 5 times it didn't, right? So, something to think about, to process as you're making your decisions. The next card. No act of kindness is ever wasted. Some of the kindest people you will ever meet have been through hell and back themselves. That strengthens their compassion and empathy. If this is describing you, keep being the beautiful soul that you are. This is so important and in tandem with that other card. If you change your patterns and start getting different results and apply your kindness and your love, acting in kindness and love, the results are going to intensify. They're going to build. They're going to happen faster. When you apply a negative filter to processes that you've done over and over again, I'm telling you, it's like, I keep seeing like Groundhog Day, like that movie. Mm-hmm. That's literally what I'm being told, is it's like Groundhog Day for you. And sometimes the cycle is 1 year, then it's 3 years later, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? You have to be the one to change. You have to be the one to put your foot down and say, enough is enough. And sidebar, that shit's scary. It is so scary to do. I get that. I have been, even in the midst of like all the good, I have been waking up every day with this angst for like the last couple of weeks. But I know enough to know, like I know, this is good. To wake up in that means that things are moving. They weren't the same as yesterday. And that's a little scary. It's a little scary to wake up and be like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, this feels a little uncomfortable, or a lot uncomfortable. This is when you lean. Remember, talking is hard for me now. Lean into your tools, right? Lean into your tools. Understand that these feelings are good. They're good. And what you think is happening negatively for you is actually happening for you to clear space for what we're about to talk about. Okay? Money card. Look at that Buddha, baby. Look at that Buddha. This is peace, love. This is abundance in all levels of your life. Life purpose. more than money. Whew, chills. Spiritual wealth. This is you connecting with your inner, I'm being told to say inner God. This is you connecting with your inner God, right? And a lot of people struggle with those words, inner God, because God is taught to us outside of us, right? But God is within you. God is within you. And when you connect to that light and that love and that kindness, you find your life purpose that way. You shift and in massive ways. This is your divine, this is your divine path. You have found it already. It exists within you, and you are just scratching the surface of this. Know that this is your divine path, and you are being divinely guided to maybe offer counsel to people. Maybe you're finding solutions for people, and because it feels normal for you, it feels weird to ask for money. Does anybody resonate with this? Because it feels normal or you like it, you don't want to ask for money because you're used to doing something that you don't like for a salary, for an hourly pay. So you think that that's how it should feel when money comes into your bank account. It's not. It's actually the opposite. That is why for us, Em and I are talking about, this is just for now, because we've already found our life's path and we are divinely guided on that path and things are changing for us. There is no more definition of insanity for us. We're uncomfortable every freaking day, waking up uncomfortable and doing things bigger than we ever thought we would do. And you can do it too. You can do it too. Find your inner God, find your inner soul, find your life's purpose. And then the next card, coins. I wish we had like a coin like button, you know, like the sound of them clinking.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to add that to the list of sound effects to find.
For downloads.
Yep.
So coins this card is literally all of your wealth and money coming in. Whether it's through a good investment, a lottery win, and it could be like $5 or $12. When you get that small win, be so grateful as if it's 12 million, right? Be so grateful and feel that feeling of the money coming in. And whether you buy another one or you don't, whatever, apply that to like when your paycheck comes in, feel good about it. And then imagine it doubling, right? Get excited about money doubling. So this career like feels very like in finance and sales. This is like you're extremely lucky in this time frame. So from this reading right now, luck is upon you. This is getting your raise and like getting really excited and then seeing things outside of you start happening, and then you pull in all that greatness and then things start really getting good, right? So remember, cut off your definition of insanity, change your ways a bit, get uncomfortable, stay in your kind energy, know that God is within you. Your inner light is going to help you with your divine path and finding your life's purpose. And as all of this is happening, the money starts coming in, the wealth starts coming in. You start making good investments. You get a raise. You're just divinely guided and extremely lucky right now. Feel that in your soul as you go through your next week, and you'll start seeing things change, I promise. How about that, Em?
I have a lot. Hang on. have a lot to say about that on so many different levels. So just stay with me here. Okay.
Okay.
So
I'm here.
I thought when you were talking about, getting excited about the raise and, the little things like that, and treat like $12 like $12 million, that just took me back to the conversation we literally just had about you looking at the views and me getting the notification of the 50 podcast streams and downloads.
Literally getting full soul chills. Holy shit,
Yeah, and also I totally resonate with the whole, it feels normal, so it's weird to ask for money, because I was there for so long. The things that I was doing for people, I was like, no, I'll just do it because I'm your friend and I just love doing it. So, and I knew.
Yep, I was one of those ones that benefited from that. I was like, cool, I'm down. And now I'm like, charge me more.
Yeah, and I knew I was
ask for more.
I knew I was leaving a lot of money on the table by doing that. And also, when you were talking about, how you wake up with this angst and stuff, the last couple weeks I've been really feeling like really confused and overwhelmed. But I'm realizing now, after many conversations with people, that the confusion and the overwhelm doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, because there have been moments where it kind of takes me back to the place of, this is too much. I'm not good enough for this, that type of thing. Cause I was stuck there for so many years with all the trauma that I went through and the emotional upheaval and everything that I went through. But now I'm starting to realize that what I'm confused and overwhelmed about is, how do I make my message clear to people about the other businesses that I do?
Preach.
Okay, I'm fucking happy that now I'm confused about a business that I'm starting, that I have started, that I'm trying to build. Whereas before, I was so confused and overwhelmed with, how do I tell my family that I've decided to remove myself from the religion that I was raised in? You know what I mean? Like it's a confusion and an overwhelm for good things. So like like the angst is a good thing, because it shows you that your mindset is moving in a positive direction. That's where the confusion and the overwhelm is for me, because even though in the moment it's like, so frustrating because you just can't get clarity on it. But look at what I'm trying to get clarity on. It's a big fucking deal. Like, I have a business, I have 3 of them actually.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it, so yeah, that's what I have.
I love that. I love that. And like something to really think about what you just said is that you kind of confused your overwhelm because it felt similar to the overwhelm you felt in a situation when you were kind of in a lower vibration, like in a really bad situation. But you were able to understand that even though you don't know exactly where it's going or what it's exactly going to look like, you are focusing on the 1% every day that you can change. And you're able to realize it's actually not the same angst. It's completely different. Even though it has similar feelings, you are in a place where you can separate the two because you've done the work and you know that they're 2 different things. And now you're able to kind of breathe through it and continue, as opposed to shut down and be in this really kind of dark space, right? Like, it's so cool. And that's where you get to see like your growth patterns, right? That's when you get to start noticing like how far you've come. If you listen to the angst, if you ask the angst questions, that's what you start figuring out. well, when I felt this last time, I felt I was here. Now I feel this time, but it's here. Oh my gosh, those are worlds apart. Whoa, how cool that and now you're in a positive energy around the darkness that you're kind of feeling. It's uncomfortable, but you're in this place where you're recognizing the positive as opposed to letting the negative drown you where you can't breathe, you know?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like that was so good.
Okay, let me just let's see. Let's have just an encore, you know.
I love
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks. And now I turn it over to you, Em, for
The soul word. What the hell? Oh.
segment. I got you, boo.
I did it again. Let's try that
Oops,
again.
I did it again.
This is what we mean by perfectly imperfect. Okay? This is what we mean. Okay, now it's time for the soul word segment. I need like the sound of like, you know, the when stars fall, it's got the
Write it down.
the chimes, you know. Yeah.
She said, I need to get my lashes done.
I'm adding it to the list. Okay.
I'm struggling.
All right. So now we're moving on to step 5 of the soul word cycle. So we've already chosen the word and we have done the raw truth where we just spill your guts, no editing, no perfectionism, no nothing. And then we did the reflection, you know, what jumped out at you, what were you afraid to say, and then we set the scene. So this was when we wrote down things that we remembered specifically that popped up in our minds when we thought of the word. Where were you? What happened? Who else was there? And what shifted? So now we're kind of bringing it all together. And we are going to write about what this word is trying to tell you. So you're going to go back through everything you wrote about the one specific word that you chose to focus on. And then you're just going to kind of go, you know, realize what this word was trying to tell you and write that down. Because from the time you started and selected your word, and then you dove into it more to kind of get deeper into the word, you probably discovered things about that particular word and how and why you chose it. So you're going to write that down. And then after that, this isn't really a part of it isn't really a step in the cycle, but you're going to write down just kind of notes from the cycle, you know, maybe a truth that you don't want to forget, a whisper of courage, a reminder of how far you've come, a note from the past to your future self, anything that you feel is important to make note of from that whole soul word cycle that you just went through with the one word that you chose.
Well, I wrote all of that down, and because obviously my book is packed, so I'm really excited to actually get moved so that I have all of my stuff like ready at hand so that I can be like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I don't even know what that sound effect was, but you know.
Oh, what would that be? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Like
Whoosh,
a like a running, like arms.
Yeah, like swoosh, swoosh, I guess would be a better.
I'm going to write swoosh down. The list grows every day.
I'm here for it. We're going to get it. Someday we're both just going to have them so that we can like have little wars between us, like who's going to get there first. Once I move, I'm going to get my little box out and I'm going to figure it out. And then we can have little sound effect wars.
Well, you know, maybe when we go to Podfest in Florida when we're unaccompanied minors, maybe maybe people will have suggestions for different equipment that maybe has the ability to record specific, you know, sound effects. Because right now, I mean, it works for now. That's another
For
one.
now,
That's
I feel
acceptable.
like this keeps coming around.
For now.
Actually, I'm going to write for now down. Because in case I need it later, you know, in case something comes up and a message comes from it, that happens to me a lot.
Yeah. Okay, well, while you're writing, let's talk about the meat of today's
I'm so glad
episode.
you said that.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to talk about something that I didn't realize was as important as it was until the last couple of years. Probably shortly after David died is when I started to realize that this particular topic was super important. So today we're going to talk about live lists and why some people call them bucket lists, other people call them live lists, you know, whatever you want to-do list, you know, whatever.
But remember, what you call it, words are spells. You're welcome. So call it something that makes you feel good or harmonious or positive. Just a little 2 cents, little thought from Thylene. Ding, ding, ding. That was perfect timing. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're done with someday. We need to live today. So we need to create the live list today. And this actually came about a conversation I was having with a really good friend, and I had made mention that something that is on my live list is to go to New York City and watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in person. Even if that means I just watch it from my hotel room on the route, because I don't know that I'd be able to handle actually being down in the streets with those crowds. I don't know that I could handle it, but it's on my live list. And she said, I don't know that I could handle being around all those people, but thank you for telling me that I need a live list because I've never had one. And I said, yeah, you need things to look forward to. It's time to make memories and live. And she said, the only thing I'm planning for is retiring from the company that I work for. And it just really got me thinking about how, I mean, her and I have talked about, you know, planning and taking a trip and stuff. We just it hasn't come to fruition yet. But I just thought how important it is to have those memories, you know, to not be tied to your everyday life, the same thing day in and day out, because that's just not fulfilling. You know, you have to live, you have to make memories. And after David passed away, it was at that point that I decided, you know, my kids are grown. They're out of the house. I am not going to not live. You know, my husband doesn't love to travel, and that's okay. He encourages me to do it. We go on our own trips, you know, cars and stuff like that, but he's not a flyer, you know, things like that. So that's mainly me, but I call him my silent supporter because he encourages me to go do these things. And I've had so many amazing experiences ever since I decided that I was not going to let anything or anyone tell me I can't do these things. You know, and it's made my life so much more fulfilling looking forward to these things. You know, like the trip that we're going on to Florida. We just literally just decided we were going to go, and we signed up, we bought the tickets, we were on the phone with each other, and okay, it's done. you know, and I told my husband, okay, I'm going to Florida in January. And he says, okay, you know, it just makes it so exciting. You know, it gives you something to look forward to. And, you know, the first thing I want to touch on is the I'll do it someday myth, because we've all said that. Oh, I'll do it someday. It's kind of like the for now, you know, I'll do it someday.
Funny how that works.
We keep acting like someday is a promised day, but it's like we're waiting for the universe to like send a notification to us on our phone. Like, okay, today's the day to finally live. No, someday is just this little word that we tend to hide behind and use as an excuse because we're either scared or tired or maybe both. I don't know, but tomorrow is not promised. So, what are your thoughts on that little part, Thylene?
Actually, I was just thinking, because I knew it was going to turn to me at some point, and I was like, my brain is literally like shorting out right now because it's going in so many different directions. And it's like, cannot compute. Like, that's literally what's happening right now. And it's because I agree with so much of that. And because we're at different stages of our lives, I think it's really important maybe to start there. It's like, I do have kids at home, but I'm still making these choices. I'm still figuring it out because I've learned I don't have to wait. Time is alignment and a choice. And I could choose to stay home for XYZ reason, or I could figure it out. It's like, oh, I can't because my daughter, I can't be that far away from my daughter. I mean, these are excuses that I've used in the past. Or I've had 2 trips in the last 2 years that I bought tickets for and never went. Hundreds of dollars spent for nada. The last one was Hawaii. And I didn't go. And a big part of that was fear of travel for me. And the universe is like, here's this job. Because let me tell you, when I got my job, my travel was supposed to be like 25%, which is like 1 week out of the whole month. Potentially, it wasn't like supposed to be every month. And it was supposed to be like drive locations, like 2 hours here and maybe stay in a hotel for a couple nights. And all of a sudden, 3 months in, I'm flying. And I literally looked at my manager and I was like, I need you to hold my hand. I cannot do this. I'm freaking out. And he's like, you'll be fine. I've been traveling for the last year. Blah, book, click, showed me the app. He's like, you good? I'm like, uh-huh. And also, I don't have my real ID. So the first trip that I actually went on, I was 4.5 hours early. They wouldn't even check me in. And so, and I'm like, I got the bags. I did this. I got this. Freaking out, right? Then I realized I get in there and I sat for, like, finally I found someone who would check me in. And then I sat for 2.5 hours. Paid a bunch of extra money because in the Seattle airport, they're doing construction and there's nowhere to sit, really. I'm like, I'm not standing for 2.5 hours. So I spent extra money and I went up to the Alaska, like,
The lounge.
what do they call them? Lounge rooms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So much more comfortable, free drinks, blah, blah. It was great. But I had to learn how to fly, and my job forced me into it. I would have never done that on my own. And when I say my job, I say the universe, because all the stars aligned for me to be in that position, to line me up for this moment when Em's like, there's a podcast thing in Orlando. want to go? And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, when do we leave? You know, all of that to say that everyone is at a different stage in their lives. Obviously, there are going to be things that hold you back from some, like taking a trip once a month or once every 3 months, right? But what I think you're saying, is that when it aligns and when it feels right, and you still say no, you're doing yourself a disservice and everyone else around you, your tribe, your kids, because you're robbing yourself of filling your cup. You're robbing yourself of an experience that could change your life. You're robbing yourself of joy that you deserve. And when you do that, nobody wins.
Yeah.
Nobody wins.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because, you know, obviously lives, and there are obligations that we have to, that we can't not handle, right? So, I mean, this isn't to make anybody feel guilty or feel bad or anything, but like Thylene said, if the opportunity arises and everything aligns and you still find excuses, you are doing yourself a disservice. And she's right, your children, because I didn't take trips for a super long time when my kids were little, because I thought I had to put everything aside for my kids. And so, I mean, I would go places with my mom, but my kids typically came with me. And I think it's important to model for our children the ability to say, I'm taking this time for myself. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I don't want to be with you, but I need to regroup and restart, and I need this time for myself. So that kind of leads me into the next little thought that I had was, you know, the micro moments can often count more than the big bucket list stuff sometimes. And it kind of ties back into doing stuff for yourself, modeling this for your kids. You know, maybe it is something you've never done before. Maybe you want to drive an hour or two to watch the sunrise or the sunset. Maybe it's, you know, you go get your hair done. You've literally never paid anyone to do your hair. You've either had it cut by your mom or your friend or box hair dye, whatever. Not saying anything bad about box hair dye, because I mean, right here. So I remember when we first moved to Wyoming 8 years ago, John gave me some money and said, I want you to go get your hair done. And I was like, okay. And it was the first time I'd ever had my hair professionally dyed. I had never done it before because I'd never taken that time for myself. But after I did it, it felt so good to be able to just say, you know what? I am doing this for myself. You know, at the encouragement of my husband, of course. But sometimes it's those little things that, you know, that shows you that your life is actually happening. So don't take those little things for granted, because they can feel like the big bucket list stuff sometimes, even though they're just the little things. So
what's the saying? How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I do think it's important to how we talk about in other areas of life is like building your muscle. And like for me, that looks like just doing little like trips here too, for no reason, for birthdays, for any reason. Do it. It could be 30 minutes away overnight. It could be, I've done hotels literally down the way from Mikasa. Like, just do it. Just do it. And it doesn't have to be a trip either. Like what you're saying is experiences is really what it is, and what fills you and makes you feel joy. Do more of that. Like I was just saying how, like, I don't do my hair. The blonde's really starting to peek out now. And I don't do that typically. For me, that shit, my nails, my lashes, chore, does not fill my cup. Helps me in the long run because then my hair is healthier. It creates less work for me. So although it's a little bit more work up front, on the back end, I have 3 months before I have to get my hair done again. I have a whole month typically before I get my nails done again. And then lashes are annoying because they're every 2 weeks, and sometimes every week, depending on how my lashes are growing. It's not fun for me. That does not fill my cup. I would rather take whatever $500 that I'm spending and go on a trip. But I also enjoy feeling good. I also enjoy like what it does for me. I'm just saying not everything and not everyone is like, oh, that filled my cup. Like for me, I'm like, oh, do I have time? Where am I going to put it? I need to push it next. You should have seen my lash lady and I today. I'm like, she's like, how's tomorrow at 2? I'm like, perfect. She sends me the little reminder. A few hours later, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, didn't put that on the calendar. So I had to put something on the calendar. And I'm like, actually, and she's like, how's this time? And I'm like, that's not good either. You know what I mean? And it's like trying to figure out the day and the time. And I'm just like, I wish I just didn't have to get my lashes done for another week. But they are, obviously, I'm like, haven't stopped touching my eye. It's annoying. Anyway, I get on tangents. But but I'm just saying, like, that doesn't fill everybody's cup. Although I do it and it makes me feel pretty, like I feel good about myself, which is important to me. It's not something that I'm like, wow, that really checked a box, you know? So yeah, everyone has their own level of what that live it list will look like.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that because, you know, now the way that I formulate my live list is more on a larger scale because it's things that I want to do and it's things that I'm working towards. It's not something I'm just going to go buy a plane ticket tomorrow and go to Bali or something, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but you could.
Yes. But it's something that it's on the list, but I don't want to do it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But my live list is on a much grander scale, but it started small. It started with the little things, you know? And that kind of leads into, you know, your live list is for you. It's not to shine on Instagram or anything else. It doesn't need to be aesthetic, glorified, or impressive. It doesn't need to match anybody else's idea of what living right means or what your live list should be. If it brings you joy, even if it might seem weird or small or messy, put it on the list because this is your life. It's not a competition. It's not a group project. It's for you to feel satisfied. Like Thylene said, you know, doing these things because she's done them so often, they don't fill her cup. But maybe somebody who has been, you know, they've lived in poverty their whole childhood and all they want to do is go to a salon and be able to pay $120 to get their hair professionally done and maybe have somebody go take pictures of them, you know, a photo shoot or something. If that's on your list, write it down because if that brings you joy, that's all that matters.
And another point is that as you check those boxes, you level up and then you get to pick new things. Well, I've done that and now I feel so much joy. It brought me to this level. What's next? Like do you get what I'm saying? Like you should always be leveling up that. And that is kind of like vision boards, right? As you start getting the things on your vision board, you level up. You're like, wow, I can't believe I got those things. And then you make a new vision board and oftentimes it gets bigger and bigger and your limiting beliefs, the ceiling gets higher, right? as those limiting beliefs that kind of crush you dissipate, you're like, if I could do that, I could most surely do this. And that is what I feel so excited about when I see people checking those things off, is watching them do something they didn't think that it was just on a list. They never thought that they would do. And then when everything aligns, and because they've set themselves up for that mentally and emotionally, and they say yes, then they're like, oh, what do I do next? Right? And that is so cool to see. And I think that everyone goes through that stage where they finally get something. Like for me, Range Rover, right? That is, I've been saying for quite a couple years, 2 or 3 years, like, okay, it's on my vision board. Like, where's the Range Rover? You know, when I get the Range Rover, I most certainly will be giddy as fuck. And then once I have it, it's like, well, what's next? You know? Right now, I'm not thinking about what's next. I'm thinking about the Range Rover. So big picture is like, then we get to level up and we get to pick something new. And oftentimes that's even bigger. And then what's cool is we do what we were talking about earlier, Em, when you think about the angst and you see how far you've come. Whew!
Yeah, it's exciting. It's also important to remember too, on that same note, is you can't pour into your future if your current you feels depleted and feels like it's starving. You know, we keep saving all the good things for the future. And if you keep depriving the present you, those things can never exist.
1000%.
So,
have you seen the commercial, Em, where it's like one of those insurance commercials. Everyone has to have seen it, where it's the fishing pole and it's the dollar and it's constantly like, oh, almost, right? That's literally a visual of what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you say you'll do the fun things once life calms down, if you've got a lot of things going on, but fun things are what's going to help your life calm down. So,
say it again.
Fun things are what is going to help your life calm down. So do the fucking thing, take the damn trip, throw some glitter on the shit.
Yup.
And just do it.
Yup.
Because our brains, they need something to look forward to, because the human brain is kind of like, this is kind of funny. This is something somebody said to me at work the other day, but we were talking about how the brain processes things, and she said the human brain is basically like a golden retriever, because you give it something to look forward to and then everything suddenly feels doable again. So, that's why a live list works, because it gives you hope and excitement and a reason to get out of bed. It's not just a to-do list. It's literally gives you purpose. I mean, if you hate your job, but you want to plan a trip to Disney World to take all your kids to, it's going to be easier for you to go to that job, to deal with the shit, to earn the money, to take your kids on this trip, because it's going to be so satisfying.
Yep.
So, yeah.
1000 billion %. I mean, I'm so glad we're talking about this today, because the word I want to say is in a selfish way, even though I know it's not selfish, but in a selfish way, I needed to hear this reminder. Like, I needed to know, not necessarily the trip, but for me, it's the opposite of what some people, because I can always see big picture. I'm very visual. I'm very future forward, goal oriented. But for me, and maybe other people are kind of like this too, but for me, my goals are so big that the in between kind of gets murky. and icky a little bit, right?
The messy middle.
The messy middle seems extremely long, right? Because my goals, some people's goals, for instance, about getting your hair done, right? And that being, and that might, that's not really fair to say because it could be a really long, stretchy goal for them too. But for me, that's so doable that if you think of getting your hair done and getting a Range Rover, right? Can be. Time is alignment. I could get a Range Rover tomorrow. I'm not closing myself off to that, which I think is important to talk about too. But I am realistic enough to know that your credit score has to be a certain amount and your cash flow has to be a certain amount. That's pretty realistic. So when you have such big goals, it's nice to have conversations like these to remind you the why, to touch on that a little bit, and to remember and get, this whole time I've been so giddy, to remember what that feels like, because when you feel things, that's how you get closer to them. Your emotions are the indicators that start triggering your mind and your subconscious, which is typically what slows you down, because that subconscious, man, that motherfucker, you really got to work on that. And that is what keeps the gaps, right? So when you change your feelings about something, when you really feel it and you really believe it, your mind doesn't know the difference between whether you have it or if you don't. So when you visualize, you think about it, you feel it, you don't realize how close you're getting yourself to that thing, but you are. That is a huge step. And sometimes it's nice to just be like, okay, I am doing the things, like to feel those feelings and be so excited, and to be excited for other people to hear this and go, oh my gosh, I can do it too. That makes me giddy too. So
I think it's also symbolic when you start, if you've never done, something like this before, and it might feel overwhelming to you to think large scale, starting small can also be symbolic, because if it is, and I know we've talked a lot about getting your hair done as an example. I don't even know why I even said that, but anyway, it's a good example, because if you can work toward that goal, it's so satisfying to know that you can do that. Then you're like, okay, now I want to move up to the next thing. Now I'm going to add this on the next time. I'm going to add this on the next time. So it's not always about the thing either. It's symbolic to show that you are capable of doing more. And that's why I think it's so important to have a list like this, because for one, you need to have these experiences. And number two, you need to know within yourself that you're capable of doing it. Because when you don't have anything to look forward to and you just go to work day in and day out, you go home, you cook, you clean. I mean, it kind of runs you down after a while, and you're like, what is this life even for? So you really need to put yourself first. We've said that so many fucking times. Put yourself first, and there are ways to do it, even if you don't have a whole bunch of money, or, you have other obligations. There's always ways to put yourself first. So,
yep.
Yeah.
I concur.
So,
hear ye.
Kind of to close it out, you don't really need permission, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. If you need somebody to tell you that it's okay to do the fun things, the wild things, the healing things, the weird things, hello, it's us. We're giving you permission. Permission granted. Go live your life. We'll sign your permission slip. We'll even notarize the fucking thing for you. You have permission.
We'll send you glitter.
We will send you glitter.
Which, more to come on that.
Yeah.
We have ideas and things a brewing.
Stay tuned for that. So, yeah. Okay. So, let's move in to her vibe check. What you got for us, Thylene?
Dude, so much. Ugh, picking one thing. I think the big takeaway is remembering to feel the feelings as if you already have it. Because, and I would really love to do an episode on that. But bringing it like to the wrap up, feel it as if it already is. Like, imagine yourself doing that. So for me, I see myself driving in a Range Rover on a summer day with the windows down, listening to my favorite song or my favorite podcaster, which is maybe I Am Her. So doing things like that allows yourself to feel worthy of it and shifts you into a place where you can have those things. I think that's my takeaway, is remembering that the feelings are where it starts. Because if you don't allow yourself to even think that you can have it, likely it won't ever come into your space. Like for me, I see Range Rovers now all the time. The ones that I want, like the exact model, the exact color. I see it all the time. And I used to be like, well, fuck that guy. How the fuck you get that, right? Like that old me years ago. I'll never have that. That's so annoying. Now I look at it and I'm like, thank you for the breadcrumb. Like, if that person can do it, I sure as shit can do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I think for me it's you don't need, like a full life overhaul. You just need to be able to make sure that you don't lose your spark. You just need one thing that reminds you that we're allowed to enjoy the life that we've been given. And sometimes your whole mood changes because you bought yourself, something you've always wanted. And that one thing can shift not only that moment, but it can really shift how you look at your future and how you carry yourself into your future. So I think that's my top takeaway, is just it's so important to, and I agree with you, put yourself in the place of what you want, see yourself there, and to make it happen. And just it's not for social media, because I have had that mindset sometimes, share all the things because you want people to see what you're doing and be jealous of that, and that's not what it's about, So,
which is another episode. But also, really quick, there's such a negative energy around add to cart culture, like go to therapy instead of add to cart. But I feel the opposite. If adding to cart makes you feel good and pulls you out of a slump, I mean, don't take away from your diaper money and your formula money, right? Like, you gotta be smart about it. But like, if you add to cart and your whole mood shifts, you're opening yourself up to a whole new space where you can make more money, be happier, attract the right people. But if you stay in this space where you're like so down and I gotta go to therapy, right? It's all about mindset, which is another episode. So
yeah.
Awesome!
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Now we need to swish. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Is there a Zoom one? Zoom.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look it up. Because when you say that, I envision like a cartoon with a dog that just runs back and forth.
Yeah.
And they have sound effects for that.
Yes, they do.
So surely they have one for us.
Surely.
So, all right. Well, thank you for sticking with us on this episode. And don't forget, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. So until next time, take what resonates, leave the rest, and remember, somewhere a lion in a Hawaiian shirt is cheering you on. Bye, everybody.
Bye.